Hello, hello, everyone. Welcome to the Book of Roto special edition. Today we have chapter number 6 being done live stream. Why did I do that? Did a little video explaining the reasons why. But the main reason being that we are currently in a situation where a lot of colleagues in our community are struggling due to the consequences of the actors and the writers' strike. There is a shortage of work. A lot of people lost their jobs or are laid off, temporarily laid off. So I've decided to open the doors of the Book of Roto to everyone for you to have a sneak peek of one of our lessons. And apart from that, I'm also going to do a giveaway today. I thought about doing one course giveaway, and that course would definitely happen live, since we are now live on YouTube. But it would be also unfair because there is a lot of people that are sleeping right now if they are on the other side of the world. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do actually 2 course giveaway. One of them is going to be done today, live. And the other one, I'm going to wait 1 week to do the draw. And then I'll do the draw after 1 week. So everyone has enough time to watch this episode, to go through the rules for the submission, to qualify for this giveaway. Okay? So let's start with those rules. This is going to be very simple, okay? There's nothing fancy. I want to keep things simple. So the first thing you have to do is to go to our YouTube channel and give that good old thumbs up on the like. So like this channel, like this post, subscribe to this channel. And also drop a comment, okay? Either live or later on, while you're watching this offline, drop a comment. Why do I need a comment? Because the winner is going to be drawn from randomly from one of the comments, okay? It doesn't matter how many you will do. It will detect multiple repetitions, but feel free to make a lot of comments today if you have any questions or anything that you would like to say. Okay, so comment, like, subscribe. Simple, right? And one more thing. Because this is dedicated to the community, I would like you to share this post on LinkedIn. I've posted here in the comments the LinkedIn shortcut for you guys to go there. It's basically you go to my LinkedIn, add me on LinkedIn, and repost this live stream post. Okay, very simple, right? There's nothing crazy going on. By the end of today, I'll do one lucky draw, and in 1 week, I'll do a second lucky draw. Okay. I hope this can contribute to help you guys with some good information, good education. That's what I like, and I hope this is going to be beneficial. Cool. All right. So what we have on the menu for today, the spline, and this is one topic that it's very dear to me. Very curiously, I've done some polls on LinkedIn to ask about splines. Some of the polls were quite controversial, so we've also discussed some of those results. And today, we're definitely going to talk about one of them. What kind of splines do you use to do Roto? Okay. We're going to be discussing this in detail. There is still 25% of people that use Beziers, and there is 75% of people using B-splines. Why is this? Let's talk about it. Okay, I think it's nice to put side by side to do a little showdown and see which one makes more sense to use. Again, usually people go and say like, oh, this is my preference. Sure, it's your preference. But again, as I mentioned over and over and over in this course, is your preference based on any kind of performance metric? Or is it just your preference? Is your preference leading you to lose money? It doesn't make any sense, right? So let's try to put some performance metrics in front of this to kind of reduce the scenario where you just say, oh, I like this because it's just my preference. And we can actually figure out what are the reasons people use one or the other. It might be just a matter of information, or it might actually be that there's something really important. So I'm going to be showing you my perspective of this. And please drop some comments on the live stream. If I can do like a little sneak peek, I'll publish them here while we're going through these details. Okay, so we'll be talking about types of splines. We'll be talking about positioning. Where should you position the splines? We're going to be talking about local consistency, temporal consistency, and also we're going to be talking about how to break down a character or any kind of objects in splines. Are we going to be using big splines, small splines, too many, too little? How are we going to be doing this? Okay, I have a good perspective to show you from many years of doing this and training and watching people doing it. I'm lucky to be the head of the BG Prep department at Image Engine right now, a group of fantastic artists that are very dedicated and passionate about all of these things. So there's a lot of discussion and a lot of interest that we put into all of this. So we keep discussing, we keep trying to keep this information relevant. Question yourself constantly. That's the most important thing you should do, is to question everything. Every year I try to question all my beliefs just to keep it real and keep it humble. All right. So let's start with types of splines. Okay. As I mentioned to you, the poll that I've done, I've asked a very simple question. What is your go-to spline? The spline of choice. Is it a Bezier? Is it a B-spline? Is it an X-spline? I didn't put open splines because open splines are kind of the only choice for a certain kind of objects like hair detail or thin wires or something like that. So I took that out of the equation just to keep it very simple and put those three on the table. And today I'm going to be using silhouette to demonstrate this. A lot of people, again, 75-25, it's bang on. Majority of the people are using silhouette to do roto. 75%. 25% of the people are using nuke to do roto. And I get a lot of questions like, why are you using silhouette and why don't you just use nuke? Nuke can do roto. Well, the fact that nuke can do roto doesn't mean that it has any kind of performance behind it. Actually, it's quite the opposite. If you are doing roto, and I mean proper roto, not just the garbage mat for your composite, you know, like any kind of simple things that you can do in 5-10 minutes. I usually say if you can do it in 5-10 minutes, do it in nuke. If you need to spend more than 10 minutes doing something, you have to go to silhouette. Because that's when things start overlapping and you start multiplying. The reasons for using one or the other are too many. Most of them regarding to shortcuts, not being able to corner pin things properly, performance. Nuke gets super heavy whenever you have too many splines. It doesn't like when you have 500 splines and you are moving them around. It's not meant to do roto. It's a compositing package, brilliant compositing package, but it's not meant to do roto. So if you are doing roto in nuke, I'm sorry to tell you, but you are losing time. So all the companies out there, be smart. You know, like just look at this again. All the topics that I'm doing in this Book of Roto course, they are completely agnostic in terms of software. You can use these in any kind of package, okay? But whenever you have to demonstrate something, and I'm going about to demonstrate something and to use something, I use something that I use in the industry, an industry standard. And silhouette is the industry standard for roto. So that said, this was just a disclaimer to avoid people just jumping on me and saying, "Oh, you should be showing this in nuke." Okay, let's go over that. All right, I'm going to be using a plate from The Lone Wolf, brilliant short film done by a friend of mine, Philippe Mello, that I had the pleasure to be the visual effects supervisor. This movie also got shortlisted for the Oscars. Okay. And let's talk about splines. Very simple. Beziers. Let's start with the Bezier. Classic, right? So you have two ways of drawing Beziers. You just click, 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 and don't do too much, and it will do corners between these splines, okay? But majority of the people, the way they do this is they click and drag, okay? Click and drag. Cool? So here's your Bezier. What is the problem with the Beziers? It's very simple. The Beziers are controlled, like all the control points, they sit exactly where the spline is. And you can move them around, and you can actually you can also control their position by using the tangents. And these tangents, they also sit on the spline. They get tangent to the spline, and you can use them together. You can combine them, and you can break them. You can use just one side. You can use the other side fixed, or you can break them and use just one of the sides. Okay? There is a lot of control. Arguably, I would say too much control for what it's worth it. Okay? And And this is the classic thing with Beziers. Beziers are really good at following detail, and it's kind of usually easy. People say like, "Oh, with Beziers, you can have less points. You can draw all of your detail with less points. So you can just go here and follow all of that nicely. And if you start using B-splines, you're going to have to use a lot more points. Well, guess what? This is not the kind of road that we do. Okay, so that point, to be honest, for me, doesn't make much sense, because I would never do something like this. If there is a lot of detail on the spline, for me, I'm not going to use one big spline to represent all of that. So the good thing about the Bezier, I'm not really extracting anything out of it. Okay, and as you can see here, the biggest issue is that there is a lot of information on top of your spline. And what is the main thing that we want to do? We want to be able to see the edge. We want to see how good the spline sits on the edge. Even when we are adjusting the points, I definitely don't want to start seeing any kind of tangents and points on top of that spline. If only I could have an option of having those control points outside of the spline, it would actually benefit me a lot more. Okay, let's leave the Beziers for now, for you to see other advantages. Okay, so this is like the oldest spline that probably existed in a digital software. And it's one that people that have been working in Roto for the longest, they started using this, and they got so used to this that they don't want anything else. Okay, so let me show you the next one, and the next one is going to be the B-spline. So the B-spline, let me do 4 points around here, and you'll see straight away that the B-spline doesn't get the control points layered on top of the spline. Okay, especially if there is a lot of curvature on that spline, this will never happen. So this spline is controlled by this control vertex, this control points, call it whatever you want, that sits outside of the spline. So instantly, what I see here is that I could actually see my edges a lot better. Okay, a lot better. And this is, for me, one of the first advantages that we have whenever we're talking about splines, is the freedom that I have to check the detail. Okay, I want to be able to check and to go here and check my alpha against my plate, and whenever I'm looking here, I want to see where the spline sits. Cool. So thing number one. Thing number two is that these B-splines, also called natural splines, they flow really nicely. As you've seen here, it's very easy on the Bezier to start breaking things into corners, and people usually say like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna be able to do so much more because I have too much control." With the B-splines, you have less control. I was like, this is a good opportunity to say that less is more. I want to have less control, but I want a good flow. I want a good flow with these splines, because a lot of stuff in nature is quite organic in the way it moves, in the way it bends. Sharp edges, absolute sharp edges, are very, very, very difficult to find nowadays. There's always some kind of chamfer happening in everything. And whenever we're talking about clothes, human bodies, this is exactly what we want, is a nice natural flow of this spline. talking about the amount of points that usually people say that the Beziers, the B-splines have a disadvantage. Well, let's have a look at this. What is the problem with this? Let me see if I can show you guys what is the issue. So for me to represent something with the B-spline, for me to invert, to do a little inflection point, I need to actually create more points to be able to do that. If I don't do this, you will see that naturally you will start almost like losing resolution. Okay, this would be true if the software that implemented these B-splines didn't have mechanisms to counter all of this. Again, I do not roto the way that I'm showing here, okay? So as I mentioned, there is no way I would do this, and this being a problem for me. But let me show you what is the countermeasures that Boris Effects found for the kind of implementation that we are finding, okay? And again, this is also another thing that is thrown at B-splines and saying, oh, you do that, but look at how much it destroys the other corners, okay? And this implementation is what they called the weight, or as I like to say, the tension, okay? So if you press Alt or the Option button, you will see that you are able to change the tension to the point it almost does a little corner around there, okay? And again, this is very interesting. Like, you can definitely change that tension on that point, but you also see that you are destroying the tension around everything else. So if by any chance you had something aligned on this edge over here, that thing gets absolutely destroyed, right? This is B-splines. That's the nature of the beast. Do I use B-splines? Not really. I use another one that I'm about to show you. But before we do that, let's right-click on this B-spline and let's see what other options do we have. Because it's not only the B-spline kind of control point that we can have. We can definitely have a little corner. So that's that crazy advantage that the Beziers used to have, which is I can actually do sharp corners with less points. Well, actually, you don't really need, because you can do a corner with this anyway, you know, and you can control what is the angle that that corner will do. Okay, so there's no real reason not to use this spline that has such a simple interface. And of course, whenever you do a corner, it sits on the spline. So if you want to use a corner, you're going to have to deal with it, okay? So the B-spline also allows you to change back to the B-spline point, okay? Now, as I mentioned to you, the problem of changing the tension can be solved with something interesting. And that something interesting is called X-Spline, okay? And the X-Spline, I'll try to do exactly the same thing. 4 points. It looks pretty much the same thing. A lot of people, I would even say majority of the people, like by looking at the poll that I've done, only very little people actually chose X-Spline. They're like, I just don't use it. I would say majority of people have no idea what is an X-spline. An X-spline exists only in Boris Silhouette. It doesn't get implemented by Nuke, for instance. The B-spline and the Bezier does. So what are the differences? For me, the biggest difference that we have whenever we choose an X-spline is this little detail. I'm going to change the tension on this point and look at the difference. Only this point is being affected. All the other points, they are kept exactly where they are. All the relationship, all all the weight on the other points is maintained. And the only thing you do is to change this until it actually becomes a corner. Or if you keep going forward, it becomes a cardinal point. Okay? So the spline goes through. It's almost like a Bezier. Cool? So this here allows you to literally control and also animate, because I can go now a few frames later and change this tension, and you will see that this tension will be animated. So you can change the tension. You have full control over the tension on this point. Okay? You can also change this point to cardinal. So that is kind of the thing about X-Splines, is like it's almost like a B-spline and a Bezier had a baby. And you can actually have the same kind of points that you have on the Bezier, you have on the B-spline. So it's kind of a hybrid, okay? This hybrid comes with a little issue, okay? And this is here where you have to start making your choices. What is this little issue? The spline is brilliant, okay? Now, whenever you export these splines into Nuke, the Bezier is going to convert as a Bezier. It's going to be exported as a Bezier. The B-spline is going to be exported as a B-spline. And the X-spline, as you know, it doesn't get implemented in Nuke. So it gets exported as a Bezier, okay? And eventually has a lot more points because of our ability to actually change the tension on that, changing the tension the way I showed you with keeping that weight brilliantly in place. So for this reason, there will be a few more control points whenever you export these splines, this Roto, into Nuke splines, okay? I'm not talking about exporting mats. I'm talking about exporting Nuke splines. Whenever you export this X-spline is going to be in Nuke as a Bezier, okay? And now people will say, that's a deal breaker. Oh no, like if I exported a B-spline, I want to have the control of a B-spline because I want to be able to modify the splines in Nuke. Why? If the Roto is good, ideally, you don't even need to change any spline in Nuke. If you need more separation, you can just go back to Silhouette or ask your Roto paint department to separate more. Okay? Usually the separation is already agreed during the bidding and briefing stage with the compositing supervisor. So you should be able to have everything you need to do your job the way the Roto gets rendered as a mat. Okay? So why would this be a problem? Well, it is a problem if you really are attached to having B-splines, if you love B-splines, and you're really attached to having B-splines in Nuke, you would have to use a B-spline and give up on all of the capabilities, the hybrid capabilities, and the tension control that you have with the X-spline, okay? You have to give away that. If, in the other hand, you really don't care, you are working with ultra efficiency, you don't care about splines in Nuke. And if you care about splines in Nuke is to do any kind of separation or use the spline to drive something. So you don't really want to modify the spline and you don't mind just having Beziers hanging around, which bothers me a lot, to be honest. But for me, the advantage to use the X-spline is while you are actually developing the Roto. That is what bothers me. Is for me, using B-splines allows me to be faster, more efficient, and have more detail, more control over the splines. That's what matters for me as Roto is concerned, okay? For compositing to demand and say, we want B-splines because we want to be able to fix the Roto. Like, you don't have to fix the Roto. If the Roto has to be fixed, ask the artist that has done the Roto to actually fix it, okay? So there's no reason. If you are the sole compositor and you are actually the full stack artist doing the shot, It's completely up to you. Just go back to Silhouette, finish your roto, do your little adjustments, export it again. Okay? And export it as what? As mats. Okay? If you're trying to do the roto of this hair detail that we have here, you're gonna have 100 splines in there. Do you wanna open up 100 splines in a Nuke Roto Paint node? Good luck with that. Okay? It's gonna be proper heavy. Okay? So it's complicated. Okay? So this is what I want you guys to retain. There are differences between these splines. And for me, there are pros and cons in using all of them. Okay, being for me a nice progression through the years of using Beziers because there was no other choice, getting used to do the Beziers because everyone is using it. Suddenly, B-splines come in, and the way Roto develops, and we will talk about the spline breakdown in a second. Kind of gives me the best choice to start using B-splines because I have way better control. They flow nicely. They are easy to animate. They don't have over control with all the control points and tangents, both control points on the tangent that you can actually break them. It doesn't sit on the spline. The control points don't sit on the spline, so I have more visibility. And they convert nicely into Nuke. Okay, so B-spline would be nice for the average Roto artist. Absolutely fine. Or probably for the vast majority of the Roto artists. Now, if you want to have even more control, if you like to use the tension, not everyone likes to use the tension, to be honest. Majority of the people that I know that does Roto, they say like, I couldn't care less about the tension. I don't mind just dropping a couple more points if I have to do a little corner. I don't mind just dropping a couple more points. And it's absolutely fine. Okay, so you just stay with the B-splines. If you want that have that extra control, sure, go ahead, give it a try with the X-Spline. And you can even go for the odd point where you want to have a cardinal. You want to have like a Bezier point going in there that goes through the spline. Sure, go ahead and change it. That's full capability of the spline right there. Okay, having in mind the consequence of this is going to be whenever you're going to Nuke, it gets converted into a Bezier. Okay, for me, as long as I'm not touching Beziers, I'm fine. Okay, so if I use X-Splines, I render everything as mats, and I'm happy to comp with that. Okay, always happy to comp with mats and not having splines hanging around and making my scripts very slow. So make your choices. Okay, here are the metrics for you to use. Give it a try. A lot of people don't even give it a chance and just say like, oh, I prefer Beziers. Why? I don't know. I just prefer it. It's usually the preference comes down to it by default. You know, that's the only one that I know, so that's the one I prefer. I don't really like that perspective. Okay, I like the perspective of I've tried all of them extensively, and my choice, due to a few reasons, is this one. That for me is the best argument. And absolutely, fair play if you prefer to use Beziers and you are fast with that and you have full control and you're not bothered with all the troubles that I've mentioned here. Okay. All right. Now, open splines. Well, open splines kind of, as I mentioned, they are on a league of their own. They're not problematic. Let's say I want to do a little open spline for this strain of hair. So what I'm going to do any kind of spline. In this case, I like, as I mentioned, I like the B-splines, and I'm going to press escape. So suddenly this spline becomes an open spline. Okay, and you have the possibility of controlling the width. Okay, And you have also the option of controlling individually how is the taper on that. Of course, I'm exaggerating here. I'm exaggerating for you to see the real capabilities of what we have here. Okay, that's how you can use this. Open splines get converted, get exported into Nuke as open splines. Okay, they get the same conversion, so it shouldn't be a problem. I think even the tapering gets converted nicely, so this shouldn't be a problem. Again, am I bothered in bringing a million strains of hair as open splines into Nuke? Please no. I want a mat. I want a separate mat for the hair detail. I want one mat for the core hair detail, and I want a separate mat for all the little wispy bits of hair. So I can do a different treatment whenever I'm comping it. I'm probably not going to be pre-molting. Oh, sorry. I am not sharing my screen. Sorry. Let me do it. Let me do this again. The joys of the live stream. Okay, so as I was saying, this is the open spline. Just press escape, and you have your spline right here. Change the stroke width. Okay, change the stroke width, and just go here, and you have here the tapering. Okay, there it goes. As I was mentioning, do I want to have this going, a million of these going into Nuke? No, I want these in a separate mat so I can comp it. Probably I will never be able to pre-mold this because they are super transparent, so I'm going to have to treat this with any kind of solid color, so I can do a different multiplication to add this back into my comp. Okay, so these are pretty much the types of splines that you can use. You'll definitely feel the difference whenever you're using different types of splines throughout your career. You'll get used to them. You'll get your own tricks going on to be able to control them, to manipulate them. Okay. Talking about manipulation, this is where we start laying our splines in our shot. Okay, so let's see a good edge that we can use to start talking about spline breakdown. Okay, I really like this edge over here. I really like this edge. Look at that. A classic situation. So, how do we usually start laying down our splines? I've seen a lot of recent developments on the AI Roto that either creates a generated mat that boils all around, or as recently been published. There is already a software that is using splines. It's laying down splines, generative splines around the object. What is the problem? It lays down one big spline around all of this, with all of the control points going on. Pick, 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 pick. Okay, so something like that just goes like this. Okay. Following the whole character. We definitely don't want to use any of this. And what we want to do is to start trying to understand how can we be efficient when we are laying down our splines. The fact that we can have a spline following and being glued to a certain edge and represent only that edge is what gives us the absolute control and the absolute quality. Okay, Each time I have like an inflection like this, I have a lot of problems with this. Whenever I try to move, whenever this character is rotating, you will see that the edge that we have here doesn't represent the same part of the body that is represented over here. We are seeing the fold of the back of her arm, while here we are seeing the front of the arm. Okay, so this ultimately comes down to parallax. Okay, if you want to forget about body parts, think about parallax, think about the depth. Things that are closer to you will move faster. Things that are further away from you have the perception of moving slower. So do the splines that represent those edges. So the best thing for you to have full control while you are animating all of this is to actually separate those body parts, everything that is in depth. You need to start separating those things into different splines. So the way that I'm going to be doing that, I'll be using X-Splines. Goes like this. Okay. Now, let's go to one of the issues. Let me delete, or let me even add a couple more points here just for you to see what is the problem. Whenever you start using B-splines or X-splines or whatever, and you start laying down too many points, you kind of have exactly the same problem that I was criticizing on the Beziers, which is all of your points will sit on the spline, right? Now, of course, you don't have the tangent, so straight away, this is 3 times less points to control and cluttering on my spline. So I can see this edge much better. Now, do I need really all these points to represent my spline? No. Look at this. If I have potentially just 3 of them, I usually try to have the rule of 3. If I can represent my edge, my active edge, with only 3 of them, I might be able to go away and have only those 3 points. All the points that are inside, to be honest, they don't really count. For me, what counts is the first point that is inside controls the angle of attack. Okay, so it controls how this spline is going to be attacking. Same thing happens here. I can even risk that I could delete this and have only 2 points representing this spline that respects to that edge, that fold that is over there. Okay? So the first point inside that is not the active outside edge controls the attack. See? All the points here, just garbage. Just give it as much as you want. It doesn't matter. Okay? So only the things that are outside. And look at this. Look at the beauty. As soon as you start using less points to represent your spline, you're still being able to represent the nice roundness or straightness. Okay? If you want that point to be straight, sure. Move your attacking point to be straight. But if you're using the least amount of points, maybe 2, 3 maximum for that edge, you're able to control this and have the spline absolutely clean on the edge without any points to going on top. So you can check your edges much better. Cool. So now let's go ahead and draw a few more. Okay. In this case, I'm starting to see here some little kinks. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to separate those little details if it's needed. Okay? Doesn't have to be all of them. Okay? Maybe here I have enough detail. Look, I've drawn too many points. Sure, don't worry. Go back and start deleting them. Do you really need that amount of detail? Maybe yes, maybe not. Control the attack of your spline, and there it goes. Okay? And now here on the top, I can do maybe one more. Okay? Let's consider this my initial breakdown. Let's consider this my initial breakdown. Now, people usually say, Carlos, you have too many splines. Now, each time you do a spline, you're going to have to multiply the amount of time that you are animating that spline throughout the frame range. Well, that is not really the case. I'm never going to be moving all these splines alone. Never. I'm always going to be trying to move all these splines together. Okay? So I'm going to be selecting all of them, and I'm going to be analyzing what is happening here. So if I want to go, let's say, this way, okay? Not even talking about like the animation and all my key moments. That is not the point for today. Today we're talking about the spline and the breakdown, not so much about the animation that we have, okay? But if I wanted to create a keyframe here, okay, I'm not going to go spline by spline and put them in position. What I'm going to do, I'm going to try to, first of all, concentrate in one of them, usually the one that moves the most, kind of my main spline, which would be this one. And then what I'm going to try to do is move the rest of the splines individually, not a single point. I remind you, I am not moving a single individual point. Okay? I'm moving groups of splines, and then I'm moving one spline at a time. I didn't move a single point until now, individual points. You didn't see me going into Reshape tool and doing that, okay? So what I'm going to do next is to go back to my other keyframe, okay? And I'm going back from keyframe to keyframe. And I'm going to look and try to figure out if these splines keep representing the same edge. Okay, it's very important. You can't just start moving the splines around and saying, I'm gonna with this spline, I'm gonna cover more of this area over here with the spline. That's not the intention. The intention is they represent the same thing. So I'm using Shift Z and X to go through the keyframes that I've done, the two keyframes that I've done. So this is the objective, trying to figure out if they really represent the same thing, okay? And of course, whenever new detail starts to show up, for instance, this, what I'm going to do here is like if suddenly all of this detail gets hidden, no problem. You leave them inside your objects, and eventually you can even turn the opacity down. One of the things that I use with my controller, I don't know if you can see here, probably not. Maybe with this camera you can. You see here my Toolbox controller that I have here in my left hand. One of the things that I have in here is in and out points for opacity. Okay, so I can control and I instantly can just click a button and have an opacity with 1. And then after that, I can have opacity 0. So I'm animating the opacity and suddenly the splines disappear, okay? And what I can do is whenever I have new detail being generated, I can just use that and create a new spline over there, okay? So if suddenly there's a big, longer, straight spline that I could represent here, that's exactly what I'm going to do, okay? Again, always confirm, do you need all the points that you've done? Maybe not. Control it with the attack. Maybe do you need this point? Maybe not. Let's see. Potentially, there's a little bit of detail in there that we can add another smaller spline, but all the other splines that we have here, they're gonna move inside. Okay, so I can have all of these splines moving inside. Oh, I don't want this one. Okay. So I could move these splines inside and suddenly I have no more problems with the representation of that. Okay. This is how we break down detail and start revealing and occluding our splines all the way through our timeline. And you see that I haven't moved a single point yet. And I haven't gone through each one of the splines and added keyframes throughout the whole frame range. Completely pointless. That's not the objective. I want to move as much, because you saw what I did. I had to move them all together to kind of align them the best possible in average, okay? I fixed the point, which was this biggest fold over here. And then after that, I've adjusted the parallax of all the other ones. I have full control. So all of these inflection points here, I never have to represent them with one spline and start making sure that that point is always there. People say like, oh, keep the points on the inflections. I was like, no. Don't keep the points on the inflection. What you should do is you should have another spline on the inflection points, especially if those inflection points means that things slide between each other. Okay, that you have full control over one spline and the other. And if suddenly you have any kind of stretching happening, what you can do is use the tool that I love the most in Silhouette, which is our corner pin tool. Okay. Our corner pin tool allows me to move all the splines together, adjust them, deform them, and still keep the relationship between the points. This is something that is not possible to do in Nuke. You will, as soon as you start corner pinning it, you will destroy the other side. Exactly the same thing that happens whenever you have a B-spline and you change the tension. It affects everything around. Same thing is happening whenever you have Nuke. So whenever you're trying to corner pin something in Nuke, this is exactly the problem. Okay. And yeah, so this would be it for breaking down splines. Okay. Go careful with this. Go slow. Don't be afraid of adding more detail. If suddenly there's a new piece of detail that you are creating, don't start trying suddenly adding extra points, something like this. Like you're here, you want to reshape your tool, and then you start adding point here and a point there, and you start adjusting all of these things. Okay? As soon as you start adding points, there is a good probability that all the other keyframes that you've done, they're going to be destroyed as well. Okay? So because suddenly they've inherited all the points that you've created. So you're going to have to start adjusting everything. Okay. So what I would like to do, if I have to change something in a spline or divide a spline with something, create another one. I prefer to create another one. But if I have to change something, I go here to the ripple edit. Okay. Or the called multi-frame in Silhouette. So you have the multi-frame. And whenever you change something in one of these, it will change on all the others, okay? So suddenly, if I wanted to say like, okay, this spline now, I want to represent less of that edge. I know that this is being changed on every single frame. And now what I would like to do is to actually, let me turn off the multi-frame and actually represent the rest of the edge with another spline. Okay. Okay. And now I know that I have to animate this, trying to match the spline, the keyframes that I have on the other spline. But I know that with the multi-frame, it actually changed everything on the other keyframes. Okay. Adding points, very dangerous, very dangerous. Okay, you are definitely going to buy yourself a big problem and a big destruction in your keyframes that are already done. Okay, now let's just go back. Let me just delete this. Go back to this frame here. Okay, this keyframe is still good. Now, the last topic that I would like to talk with you today is about the consistency. Probably the most important word in the Roto world. It's about consistency. We keep reinforcing this whenever we are giving notes, whenever we are reviewing a shot. We have to talk about that consistency. And there are two types of consistency. There is the local consistency and there is the temporal consistency. What is the difference? Why did we choose this terminology? You know, it's not that is written anywhere. Like, it's just something that's the way I describe it. I have to describe it. These two types of edge consistency. And for me, one of them is local. Why is local? Because it refers to the same frame, the same keyframe that you are doing. That's where you're going to be looking at your local consistency. And what is that? Well, local consistency is when you choose an edge. And when you choose an edge, you have to choose the best possible approximation to that edge. Sometimes what happens is you have one edge that is a little bit on the outside, and you have another edge like this one here, which goes a little bit on the inside. Okay. And then you have another one that is right on the money. And then you have this one here that also is a little bit on the inside. Okay. So this is what I consider that is a broken local consistency. Okay? So you have that edge that is outside. You have this edge, which is inside. You have this edge, which is on the edge. And you have this one that is slightly inside. Okay? This cannot happen. We have to make sure that whatever we're doing in terms of positioning, that we keep that consistent. If you prefer to do like half a pixel in, well, do half a pixel in for all of your splines, because then compositors can actually erode it a tiny little bit, and they can adjust that, okay? But ideally, try to keep that thing on the edge. And again, the granularity of what is to keep on the edge, you have to take it with a pinch of salt, okay? I don't like to roto at this distance, okay? This is too close. This is like where it gets ambiguous. Again, I'm using JPEGs. Shouldn't be using JPEGs. I'm just using JPEGs because of just to keep my computer light while I'm streaming. But if this was EXRs, you would have a lot more detail, and also you would see that at some point there is like 1 pixel, and you are deciding what quarter of the pixel is your spline going through, because you can keep zooming in until the infinite and start choosing where to put your spline. Don't be so hard on yourself, okay? Give it a fair distance from the object and start evaluating where should your spline sit to have a nice feeling that it sits on the spline. And of course, very important, keep checking your alpha. What I can see here is that there's definitely some little details over there that are from the actual fabric material, and also they're catching highlights, so they tend to pop a little bit more. So if you really want it, I do believe for this shot was not needed. You could add extra little splines for that detail if you want to go that crazy, okay? For the shot and for this specific reason that we've done this one here is regarding crossing that window with the camera. we don't have to go to that absolute madness of catching all the little details of the fabric. Okay, I want a nice consistent spline that grabs the majority of the imperfections on the cloth or the folds, but not so much grabbing the granularity of the fur on that cloth. Okay, so local consistency within one frame. Now, why was important? Why did I tell you that whenever I'm trying to move splines, the first thing that I do is to go Shift X and Shift Z, and you can see here that I'm going through keyframes. Of course, in the middle, whenever I go in the middle, I'm going to have to start seeing where it shifts the most. For instance, this frame here, it shifts quite a lot. So the in-between is going to be whatever I need to change whenever the splines currently shift most away, that gap is bigger. And that's where I'm going to draw another keyframe whenever I want to do like my in-betweens. We will have time to discuss animation on a different lesson of this course, okay? Today, let's focus on the splines. And what is this temporal consistency? Well, if I'm absolutely happy with what I have, which I'm not over here, okay? So I would definitely try maybe to split this spline in two because I cannot probably represent this little kink. Or if you want to go, just add a couple more points or redo this spline and add a little detail. Again, we don't have to be so orthodox to the point of saying like, well, never. I need to always represent my spline with 2 points or 3 points. No, you can break the rules, you know, like it all depends on how far can you take that spline without start swimming the points around. Okay. So what is the temporal consistency? Temporal consistency is whenever you have one frame that you are happy, and then you do the next frame. And on the next frame, while you are adjusting your splines, you actually create the same problem with the positioning of your spline that takes away that consistency. Okay? Even if suddenly you've done this to all of your splines, let's try to keep the consistency, the local consistency working. Okay, I'm gonna put all of them slightly in. Okay, even if locally they are consistent. Now the problem is you can see that temporally they lost that consistency. Okay, look at where the spline sits over here. Look at where the spline sits over there. Sometimes we're talking about half a pixel, 1 pixel. That can be it, you know. And why is this fundamental? Well, because when the compositors are doing the comp of this, whenever they are changing the backgrounds and they have to treat those edges, they can't be fighting against your consistency of that spline. They need to apply one procedural technique to the whole thing that kind of works. They can't be animating frame by frame and saying, oh, on this one, I'm going to have to erode a little bit more because they rotoed a little bit inside, or the opposite. So it's quite complicated. It's quite complicated for this to work. So we have to be very consistent. Whenever we are checking the shots, we should be looking at that. We should be looking at all the keyframes and all the in-betweens. Sometimes on the keyframes, everything goes well. So you go through the keyframes that you have recorded and they look good. But then whenever you go through the in-betweens, you start seeing like, oh, a little gap over there. And it's like, oh, a little gap over here. Oh, a little gap over here. So what we have to do is to either fix the keyframes or create some more keyframes to be able to fix that temporal consistency. Okay? So the perfect solution is always whenever your shot is locally consistent. Oh, little problem over here. Again, in the end of the day, if I have the need, I can go here and adjust my attacking points. This is like, again, my last resort. My last resort will be to change 1 point in a spline. Okay? But that's how it works, you know? We go groups of splines, one spline, or individual splines, and then individual points. Okay? And that's how you keep the consistency. Cool? Have to be very careful while you are analyzing all of this. Keep checking your alpha. Keep checking your alpha. Okay? I like to assign, because usually what Silhouette does is it does a cycle through your overlay, your gray, your prim over gray, and then your alpha. So what I like to do, and I know that at some point Silhouette had this as a default. I don't know what is the shortcut key because it's not usually on the manual. But what I like to do is go to my script editor, and I have a little script done by my good friend Gordon Marshall. So he done a little Python script that you can just load and execute each time you open Silhouette, or you can have this running whenever you are setting up your variables. And basically, this allows you to straight away switch between output mode. Remember, output mode is the rendering mode. Rendering mode with alpha, and plate mode, foreground mode with splines. So foreground mode is where usually everything is super fast. No matte or motion blur is being calculated. So that's where you want to edit your splines. So you go and you check foreground mode with splines, and then you change to output mode and alpha. Okay? There is a shortcut. Maybe if Boris Effects will watch this, they can tell you, or I can search for it and drop a little comment as well. Yeah, this is how we tend to work, to keep that alpha always to the click of one shortcut key. Okay. All right. What else? I think that's it. I think we've talked about everything. Types of splines, breaking down the splines, and after you break down the splines, how you start laying them and how you make those splines consistent. This is Roto 101. Absolute Roto 101. If you don't follow these basic principles, you are in for some dramatic years of your life or months of your life if you have to do Roto on yourself. Okay. Yeah. Let's have a look at YouTube. I didn't have many comments coming in, so I don't even know if this stream is working nicely. You guys let me know. But let's just have a quick peek at here. Let's see. Don't have much happening here. I don't know if this stream is actually working nicely or not. It might not be. It is working. Okay, so it's just Jai watching it. Cool. No one else is watching. And Jai, oh, just got here working for me. Okay, so we got someone else making a little comment. Okay. How are we going to do this? We're going to draw. Well, I think Jai is a collaborator of this project. Is actually going to be helping me talk through the feedback on our students' bids and briefs. Oh, there's more people talking. Okay, let's see. Nice. Yokozu really learned the sequence. Hi, Carlos. There's a few more comments. All right. Super good. Cool. Since we have more comments, this is a good opportunity to actually do the lucky draw. I was saying that Jai is unfair if he was the only comment, because he already has access to this course, because he's a fellow collaborator and he's going to be helping me with the review of the bids and briefs chapters, and he's going to be our guest mentor on our first review session. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to, let's see. I already have the course. Exactly. Let me add this to broadcast. He already has the course. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to copy. Let's see if I can share this with you. What I'm going to do, remember, I'm doing a lucky draw for today's live stream, and then I'm going to be doing another one and leaving this 1 week, okay? So we can have more people watching this, people that are not woke up at 10 p.m. At this time, okay? So did you see the rules? The rules are simple. The rules are very simple. You have to do a comment, which you've already done. You've done a comment. You have to like and subscribe RTC Roto Labs, where the place where you're watching this video. Like and subscribe. Click that little button. Okay, it helps with the algorithm so this can reach more people. And after that, look at the link. There is a little link over here. This LinkedIn. Okay, this LinkedIn post that you should repost on your LinkedIn. Oh, I don't have a LinkedIn account. You're not a professional. You're not a professional. You're not a student. Of course, everyone has a LinkedIn account. If you're working or if you're searching for a job, you should have a LinkedIn account. So go to your LinkedIn post and click this little button, repost. Okay? Once you do this, I'm going to be drawing one free course for you to access. Okay? All right. Shall we do this? Let's see. Let's actually see if we already have any reposts. There's no reposts. There's only one repost, which is me. Okay, so we don't have any reposts yet. So that is the problem. No one wins. If I don't have any reposts, no one wins. If I have several reposts, I can actually draw a random comment on our YouTube and allow this to happen. Okay? So while you guys do this, or else I'll leave this live lucky draw for later. What I'm going to do is show you a little bit of what is happening on the Book of Roto. Okay? To buy you a little bit of time if you want to win this package. So I currently still have the 20% off code for Black Friday and Cyber Monday. You just have to use, if you want to buy this course, you can use Black Friday 23 on your checkout and you get instant 20% discount. Okay. If you've done that, if you've registered that to our list, then you'll be able to access that. Okay. So what are we doing? Is this course, people usually ask me, is this course all finished? No, it's not. Okay. I am releasing every week a new episode. Why is this? I don't have the time to do the whole thing, but I really want everyone to be watching this while I'm developing the course. So this is an early bird access price that you have whenever you are accessing this. And these are the prices. You have a basic tier that allows you to watch the videos. You can watch the streaming recording. You cannot download, but you can watch it. You also have access to 15% discount on a commercial license of Silhouette and Mocha. Incredible deal. And you have access to our RTC Cast and Crew forum. Okay. I'm also offering, for now, while I'm developing this course, I'm offering a coaching session, half an hour with me, talking about anything. Ask me anything. Do you want to look at the show reel? Do you want to look at any specific technique? Ask me anything, okay? Then you have the pro. The pro tier, we have 6 projects to go through, and we have live, we have offline monthly. So every month I'll invite a guest, being the first one, my good friend Jai that is watching right now, to go through all the work that you've submitted, okay? You'll have royalty-free footage that you can use on your show reel. You have good quality footage, professional footage that you can use to practice, okay? And you'll have, of course, access to the monthlies and the past monthlies. If you've subscribed later, no problem. You have access to those monthlies, all the database of monthlies that we've done. You have access to all of that, okay? Again, you'll get a coaching session, and by the end, you'll get a digital certificate. If you really enjoy talking with me and you want some more guidance, you want to go through individual coaching, so I can help you tailor the kind of information that you get if you have any doubts. Again, this is precious time for me and for you as well. So I want to fully dedicate that time to you, to helping you. You have the last premium tier that allows you to have access to 6 coaching sessions and also to download all the videos for you to watch later and forever. Cool. And that will be it. And also have a job board that I'm going to be creating by the end of this course, that I'm going to be featuring the students that have done my premium tier. Okay. So this is my Kickstart deal. We have support from our good friends at Boris Effects. That's why you have access to good software. Okay, I'm completely against pirating softwares. Usually on my courses, whenever I'm teaching and I have like a full dedicated schedule for teaching, it is included for every student an educational license. In this case, because this is an online course, I don't have time for that. What I have here is an affiliate link for you guys to have a really nice discount. You can see you have monthly subscriptions. Of course, you don't have to buy the year subscription. You can have a monthly subscription. And believe me, $56 for having access to a proper Silhouette license commercial that you can actually use to work. It's a really good deal, okay? You can watch our previous podcasts that we've done. Amazing one with artists, supervisors, heads of department. It's incredible. And listen to what people say. Bunch of liars. Okay, so who is this course for? Pretty much everyone that wants to have a deep knowledge about Roto. This is not a tutorial course. This is details. This is the kind of stuff that you don't find on the internet. This is all the little inside secrets. Of course, I'm not disclosing anything that is show related or pipeline related to a specific company. This is all technique based, strategy based, anything that is agnostic in software and agnostic in pipeline or company where you want to work. So this is dedicated to all Rotopaint artists, all compositors, and even other visual effects artists from other departments. They are very curious about details of Roto, okay? This is Roto engineering. This is not pushing buttons, okay? All right. Did I buy you time? Let's see. Oh, there are a few reposts. There are a few reposts. I don't want to see who is a repost, because what I'm going to do, let me share this with you. What I'm going to do, I'm going to copy this YouTube link. I am going to already enrolled in our amazing premium course. Oh, nice. Nice. All right. Thank you so much. So what I'm going to be doing, I'm going to be here on our comment picker, YouTube comment picker. I'm going to be pasting our YouTube link. I'm going to be filtering duplicates so we don't count as many comments as you've done. It doesn't count. So it filters all the duplicates. And I have to put this here just for bot reason. Get YouTube comments. Oh, something went wrong. Okay, it's been a while since I've updated this. Let's try it again. Oh, doesn't like. So let's open again. Let's try it again. Yep. Maybe he doesn't like the live comments. Filter duplicates. One winner. Show random names. Let's say, let's give it 10 seconds. And security question. Ah, this video has comments disabled. What? Please enable comments on my video. The comments are visible, right? I think the comments are visible. Yeah. I don't know why. Why? Let me see again. If you guys can tell me, are the comments visible on the YouTube channel? Should be visible, right? It doesn't. Oh, okay. So the comments are not visible. I don't know why. I can see other viewers' comments. I can't see. Oh, Jay can't see other viewers' comments. Interesting. How do I activate the comments? How do I activate the comments? That's a good question. That is a good question that I do not know how to answer. I was not expecting. Usually the comments are visible, so there's nothing that I've really done that are not making this video not to have the comments available. Let me see. Hi, chat. I have no idea. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to stop the streaming, and I'm going to do the lucky draw offline after I figure out how to make those comments possible. Okay, that's really awkward. My apologies, but I'll definitely do that lucky draw, and I'll announce, or I'll actually do a little video doing that whenever I make those comments visible, because my YouTube random comment picker is not allowing me to do this. Okay, there is definitely a winner. there is 3 reposts, let me tell you, if there is 3 reposts, there's 2 people that can actually win this course. So you'll see straight away. It's going to be one of these 2 people. Yang Zhu already has it. Sharon. Sharon and Yang Zhu. Sharon works with me. I don't have the Roto with me to pursue the career. Okay. Says Project Helix Quality. All right. I do believe since Yang Zhu already got this, Miss Sharon Cheng is going to be the lucky winner of this course. Okay. Since no one else did the little repost, but you guys see my comments on the channel, right? You guys can see my LinkedIn comments, right? I think so. If this didn't work, I'll get it figured out, and I'll do another pass and seeing if you guys cannot see my LinkedIn comment, I'll draw from the comments that are here from everyone that has watched this. Okay. All right. It's later over here. We'll get it sorted. Remember to do this, to repost this on LinkedIn, and to leave a comment on this post whenever you can, because in 1 week I'm going to be drawing another free course. Okay. All right. Bye-bye. See you later.